Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Green Showcase of Summit, New Jersey. My name is Susan Haig, founding trustee of Civic Story, a co-presenter of this event along with Central Presbyterian Church. And having grown up in this church, it's a very special pleasure to welcome Reverend Adam Gorman, Senior Pastor.
Thank you, Susan. I just get to come up here and say thank you all for being here. We are grateful to be able to host this tonight, and I want to thank you all personally and from our church for all the great things that you do. Every one of those green initiatives that you do helps change the world bit by bit. And I've been taught, you're at a Presbyterian church. In Genesis 1, it says God created humans in God's likeness and that we should till the earth and take care of it and be stewards of it. And getting to look through all this, I just want to share with you, I just moved in here in September, and I've already circled about 10 of these that I've gotten to experience here in Summit. And so to all of you, I'm grateful. I've even gotten a free bike from the Summit Free Market. The Summit Garden Club, I just went to the post office the other day and saw all the great work that was going over there. I have 2 children, so Summit Green Schools. I've been to the Arboretum, of course. Anyway, the list goes on, and so I just can't thank you all enough, and I hope we all have a great night together. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Reverend Gorman. That was a great tour guide. I'm also very pleased to reintroduce Civic Story, a nonprofit news organization focused on ecology and civics and amplifying stories that empower citizens. And it's great to be back in this beautiful space where we presented many civic forums on sustainability and the role of news in our democracy over the past years. Today, we are thrilled to have 19 organizations and programs to be introduced in very quick succession. A big thank you to the speakers who have agreed to present within a concise 2.5 minutes so we can hear from everyone. If they go over, Darcy will ring the bell, but very gently. So how do we visualize this rich ecosystem of green resources in our own town with so much potential for volunteering and collaboration? Well, I thought we could imagine ourselves floating above Summit, maybe 10 stories up, looking down over the whole area. First, we have 2 watersheds, not 1, but 2, the Passaic River to the west, the Rahway River watershed to the east. So that's a geographical orientation. But then we have so many networks, a full, vast network of schools, every one of which is a center for learning. Then we have a whole network of houses of worship, spiritual centers, caring for the environment. Then a network of streets, so many trees. And finally, hundreds and thousands of yards that Doug Tallamy will remind us are all spaces for stewardship, for supporting the ecosystem, for managing stormwater, all the things we'll be hearing about tonight. So here we go with our round robin of speakers, and the first one we want to welcome is Donna Goggin-Patel, Summit Environmental Commission.
Good evening. I'm Donna Goggin-Patel, and I'm the chair of the City of Summit's Environmental Commission. I am privileged to be the first speaker. The Environmental Commission acts as a central hub for the green activities in Summit. We proudly support and promote the efforts of all of the groups here tonight. Summit is fortunate to have such a wide variety of environmental groups and volunteer opportunities. The Environmental Commission members are volunteers appointed by the mayor to advise the city on sustainability. We do not have a budget from the city. Instead, we apply for grants and we rely on volunteers. Our work includes the Community Energy Plan, a resource inventory for the master plan process, advancing solar and EV charging in the city, and educating residents. We meet in person at City Hall once a month with a Zoom option. Our meetings are open to the public, and the next one is on June 15th at 8 p.m. Please join our email list to stay informed. Because the focus of tonight is to share opportunities for you to help, I want to highlight 2 of our projects which rely heavily on volunteers. The first is the Earth Day cleanup that we coordinate. Thank you to the 250 volunteers who helped us at 11 sites across Summit this year. We hope everyone can join us next spring to collect litter and add wood chips to trails. The second is the Tiny Forest, a native reforestation project we created with the help of hundreds of volunteers and funds from a New Jersey American Water grant and the Summit Conservancy. We prepared the ground and planted over 50 native species in a grassy meadow behind the community center. There are over 700 trees, shrubs, and wildflowers. And we have our next work day this Saturday from 9 to 11 a.m. to weed the paths and remove invasive species. We welcome anyone in the audience to come to help us. All of our projects are described on the city's website and advertised on the city's social media. And I just want to give one correction. We actually have a third watershed in Summit. So not only just 2, but 3. The Raritan River is our third, so we're very unusual. Thank you for coming tonight, and I hope that we can work together in the future even more. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. We're all learning all the time. Now we head toward what I think is the Passaic River watershed, because that's where we recycle, even though the whole community recycles. So welcome to Mimi Zukoff, Summit Recycling Advisory Committee.
Good evening. I am Mimi Zukoff, and I am the chair of the City of Summit Recycling Advisory Committee, fondly called REC. REC members are volunteers appointed by Common Council. Our role is twofold: to find ways to remove items from the trash stream and to educate residents on topics recycling and reuse. We do not have a budget either, but some of our initiatives are supported by recycling grants that the city has, and sometimes Donna shares some of her grants with us. And we also rely on volunteers. And I do have to mention the City of Summit Communications Department has been invaluable in helping us with all of our education programs for teaching the residents of Summit more about sustainability and how they can personally help. We meet the first Thursday of every month, except for July and August, at 4 p.m. on Zoom. And we definitely benefit from fresh ideas and perspectives and welcome anyone to join our meetings. Our next one is June 4th, next week. Hope you can attend. You can always reach out to me on the Recycling Advisory Committee Facebook page. Also, my card is on the table back there, and it has my email address, and you're welcome to reach out to me. You may be familiar with various RAC initiatives, many of which are happening at the transfer station. We updated Recycle Coach. Please download it. You can find out how to properly and sustainably dispose of just about anything. We have so far released 12 Recycle Right videos on Facebook and Instagram, as well as on the city website. The last video that was most recently released was about how to stop having those white plastic sleeves of useless advertising dropped on your driveway, and within a week there were 300 requests of the city based on our video. Something very important, the stretch plastic collection at the transfer station. Please, no trash bags. They're the wrong kind of plastic, and everything must be clean and dry. Our most important and current project is to teach everyone that all rechargeable batteries and button batteries must be recycled. It's actually a hazardous waste and very dangerous to be thrown in the trash.
Thank you, Mimi. All so important to know. Christine Lejoy also has an orientation to the West Side, which I'm sure she'll tell you about. So please welcome Christine Lejoy of the Summit Free Market.
Thank you. Welcome, and thank you all for joining us tonight. The goal of the Summit Free Market is to reduce the amount of reusable materials that enter Summit's waste stream. We're looking for donations of yard sale quality goods to our building. We actually started in 2008 It was an initiative that was led actually by students, and we developed a website. But back then, it's hard to believe it's almost 20 years, the website really didn't take off, and we wanted a physical space. So we started out with one site at the Summit Green Fest. I'm sure a lot of you remember that years ago. And then went to the transfer station for 2 weekends in the fall and in the spring. And then we were very blessed to have the Summit Conservancy design and raise money for our building. So now we have a permanent building site at the transfer station, which we opened in October of 2020. We are open the second Saturday and fourth Friday of every month, and also, since the pandemic, the virtual website has also started to take off, and we're really encouraging people to donate large items through the virtual website. We've also donated to groups such as Moms Helping Moms, and actually a local coach of a golf team got many sets of golf clubs for her team. So one of the things, if you could let us know if there's any group that you are a part of or represents who would benefit from items that we have at the free market, please let me know. We also continue to work with students very closely. We have 2 student co-chairs that sit on our committee and organize the high school volunteers. We also have 8th graders who volunteer for community service, as well as many of our PEP students come and volunteer as well. As many of you know, you do need a permit to come to the transfer station and to come to our building, and we are open about an hour for each person, and we hopefully do not have resellers that come. We really are looking for people to use this for their own personal use. If you are interested or have any questions about us, you can reach out to the press office at thecityofsummit.org with any questions or to ask about volunteer opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine. Now we'll close our eyes and start flying over Summit to the east side. And while you're imagining that, we're going to move this a little closer. Is it too low? Pardon me? It's too low. It doesn't? Oh. Okay, we'll just ask everybody to just stand, maybe keep standing a little to the side so that it's right in front. How's that? Oh, there, it's the tech person we need. Okay.
Stay up?
Oh, it's not staying up.
No, we got it. Is it-
Okay, I think so. Very good. Okay. Now we welcome Terry Hutchinson, or a little bit more oriented to the east side. Terry is with the Summit Community Garden, which is a program of the YMCA. Welcome, Terry.
Hi, good evening. I'm Terry Hutchinson. I'm on the leadership committee for Summit Achieve Community Garden. Achieve stands for Action Communities for Health, Innovation, and Environmental Change, which is a CDC initiative. The CDC provided a grant to start the garden in 2013, and the Environmental Committee was instrumental in starting it as well. The YMCA administers it, and the land is donated by the hospital, so rather a joint effort. The location is on 99 Beauvoir Place near the hospital, and we have about 50 beds, approximately. Most of them are 12 by 4 feet, and we're dedicated to growing organic vegetables, annuals. We have approximately 12 beds dedicated to growing for Summit's food pantries, Grace and St. Teresa's, and I would say we have approximately 750 pounds of produce each year that we donate. We also have a pollinator bed, which has brought some beautiful butterflies already. We have composting at the garden. And if you'd like more information, you can find it on the YMCA website. And there is a wait list. We're booked for this year, but there should be spaces for next year, and they keep a wait list. And that's about it.
Thank you so much, Terry. Does the composting, are there any safety issues with composting, or everybody knows how to do it?
Well, we have somebody who's in charge of the composting. We're not very, very good with it, but we're getting better. But we only are allowed to compost what we have in the garden, not bring anything in from the outside.
So it's composting the natural produce. Yeah, that makes sense. Great. Well, this is a story of connection from the downtown area farther east downtown. We welcome Dr. Rob Rubino with the Summit Parkline Foundation.
Thank you, Susan and Francie, for putting this event together, and thank you to the Presbyterian Church for hosting us. The Summit Parkline, hopefully most folks know about it, but just in case you don't, it's kind of Summit's version of the New York City High Line. High Line's trademark, so we picked Parkline. But it's basically a linear park that connects the perimeter of downtown right across from Salerno Duane and goes down to Bryant Park. The long-term goal is for it to connect, continuing down that, it's called the Rahway Valley Line, ends in Kenilworth, which is also where the East Coast Greenway is, which is essentially I-95 from Florida to Maine. So hopefully one day you can get on your bike or walk from Florida to Maine from downtown Summit. But the original impetus was one morning on my way to the hospital at Overlook, saw the sun coming up across the New York City skyline and radiating down. I'm like, wow, there's got to be somewhere in Summit where the whole public can get a view of this. And at the time I was serving on Common Council, and I went down to the City Hall and found out, well, indeed there is, and it was the abandoned railway. And, you know, the whole notion is connections. It's kind of physical and metaphysical connections. We're trying to connect neighborhoods, most importantly East Summit, which never had a really easy time of it as a pedestrian or a biker to get to downtown. So we want to connect neighbors to neighborhoods. We want to connect folks to the jewels of town, which is downtown, the train, Overlook Medical Center, the rec center, the pool, Hidden Valley Park, Bryant Park, and then points beyond. So that's kind of the point of it all. And it's safer to walk and ride on an elevated bed. And then we want to connect us to our historical roots, Revolutionary War history, train history, our biodiversity. I see the table over there. In fact, we are about to plant our first American chestnut trees, which are being revived. And we really hope to just build further what we've started. We put the bridge over Morris Avenue, the pedestrian bridge. We just removed the two old train bridges over Ashwood and Russell Place, and they're to be restored hopefully by the end of this year with two more pedestrian bridges. And then we're on our way to Kenilworth in Florida and Maine. So that's it. We have some merch, some seeds, and our cards back there, so help yourselves to it, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rubino. We do have room up here. If you want some, there's plenty of seats, or just find them. Not plenty, but a few. Okay. Okay, we're still in East Summit. There are more neighbors down there. It's a pleasure to welcome Jeanette Spezio of Sustainable House.
Not used to the microphones. Okay. So nice to be here, not just at the Summit, but also in Summit as a store. We're a zero-waste refill store. We have all kinds of refills. You can get a little bit or a lot, but really we're about being non-toxic. So it's not just about avoiding plastic. There's no good way to recycle plastic. So the best thing you can do is reduce your exposure. And If you care about our land, our water, our air, then you should care about the ingredients and the overall products you're using. So we have everything from cleaners, home goods, personal care. We have a whole wall of food storage. Bring in any container, clean and dry. You can fill up. It's not more expensive. It is equally priced to comparable products. And again, you can get a little bit or a lot. We have over 3,000 items in the store. We serve all of Summit. We're at the farmers market every Sunday. We ship throughout the U.S. every day. We have over 100 refills in the store and over 100 products that the team and I make. And we hope that everybody will come visit. If you've never used a shampoo bar, it's really worth a try. And if you've never done refilling, it's really worth a visit. Lois is going to speak later. We work at the store together, and we co-chair Beyond Plastics. So we really care a lot about the environment. Everything that we do is environmentally focused. Thanks.
Just a quick question. I heard you say you make 100 products. There's a little bit of time on your. Can you just explain your work schedule and model? How can you do that and run your store?
Well, I stay pretty busy. I also run our social media. We have about 200,000 followers across platforms. But I make things like soap, laundry detergent, wipes, napkins. I do a lot of stuff with upcycled fabric. Just a lot of varieties, all kinds of things, tea towels, et cetera. And at the farmers market, you definitely see a fair amount of the stuff that I make. But I have a great team, and we've got a lot of help. So, yeah, great. Labor of love.
Thank you, Jeanette. And still over in East Summit, but toward the north, we'd like to welcome Jackie Condell, who's the Executive Director of the Reeves Reed Arboretum.
Good evening. I'm not sure if everybody who's here is familiar with the Arboretum, but the Arboretum is actually the largest green space that we have here in Summit. It's about 13 and a half acres. We just recently celebrated our 50th anniversary as an Arboretum. And if I had to sum up what I think the purpose of the Arboretum is, I would say it's to really connect people with nature, whether or not it's through education, through wellness, or the arts. We have a tremendous programming calendar where we do programs for kids all the way up through adults. And two of the biggest initiatives that we have going on is we, 2 weeks ago, had our ribbon cutting for a big capital project that we've been working on where we created what we'd like to call a path for all. So we built an accessible pathway that leads through our gardens and creates kind of a nice loop throughout the Arboretum. So we're super excited about that. And another project that we are continuously working on is a woodland restoration project where, as Donna had mentioned, at the Tiny Forest, there's a lot of invasive removal, native tree plantings, and perennial plantings as well. In order to take care of that 13 and a half acres, we rely a lot on volunteers. We have sessions on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays for teens and adults. We would love for people to come, whether you come to volunteer, you come for a program, or you just come and take a walk. I encourage you all to come visit. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jackie. And thanks to all our speakers, because we are right on time. No bell yet. This is great. So we've been on the west side, we've been on the east side, and now we're all around town with Summit Green Schools. It's just amazing to think that these centers of learning create also a network that involves kids and parents and lifelong learning. So we welcome Allison Ishak of Summit Green Schools.
Good evening. I'm Allison Eshak, representing Summit Green Schools this evening. We are a parent-led group here in Summit, really aiming to empower and encourage, educate, and help students and their families live in a more sustainable way in Summit. We have a core group of people who meet monthly, and in those meetings we discuss district-wide initiatives, we discuss individual school initiatives, and we also discuss the ongoings within the town of Summit and a lot of the organizations here, what might be happening that is relevant to school-aged children and their families. We try to promote those and spread the word as much as we can. We have a few district-wide initiatives we've implemented over the last few years. Several of them are recycling and reusing drives. One of our big ones will be going into its third year is the Help See stuffed animal drive. We collected over 1,000 stuffed animals last year and kept them out of the waste stream. We also recently did walk, bike, carpool week to school. We have a few of the schools every year who do book swaps. So there's a few hundred books at each elementary school that can find their way into new homes and be reused. We are also trying out a recycled art project this year in a few of the elementary schools to make the kids aware of how many items we use and recycle and how we can repurpose them in a fun way. And our largest initiative that is across the district is Earth in the Classroom, which is in its fourth year. And that was developed by both Summit Green Schools and the district that came up with a curriculum for 1st through 5th grade with age-appropriate lessons with everything from learning about recycling, reusing, reducing, renewable energy, climate change, plants, everything is age-appropriate, and we have parent volunteers who go into the classroom. This always happens around Earth Day, and they lead the lessons, and we hope that the students take the information home to their families and can sort of spread the word. We are also always looking to grow our team. So if you have or if you know anyone want to spread the word, we're specifically looking to grow our teams within the elementary schools themselves to find new ways and have new resources to involve the kids and work with the PTOs and the principals and just really to kind of get the kids involved from a young age. And with that, we also have a presence on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow us. And if you haven't been to City Hall, there's a very cool recycled art program or recycled art project posted there.
I just have a quick question because we're doing so well on time. Have you noticed a change over the years with the support of administrators, those busy administrators and principals? Are they fully in support? Is there a way to educate them? It's just amazed that everybody now needs to understand science and ecology in a way that we might have left to specialists before. So can you tell us a little about that?
I might not be the best person to answer as I'm somewhat new. I've been involved for 3 years, but I will say my kids are at Lincoln Hubbard, and we've had a few principal changeovers there, and it does vary, but we have found, I think we've mostly found that the principals are pretty supportive. I'll kind of look to Donna too. I know she's been involved a little longer, but I think it does vary, but I do feel like we have a pretty good support of the school administrators. Would you say so? Okay. That's kind of my best short-term answer.
It's encouraging. That's great. So now we have another whole network, and that is a network of houses of worship and places of spiritual thought and connections. So we are really thrilled to have Bill Glancy, Summit Area Green Faith Circle.
Good evening. My name is Bill Glancy. I'm one of the co-chairs for the Summit Area Green Faith Circle. For those of you who may not be familiar with this organization, we are a consortium of... Oh, can you hear me better now? Okay. Better? That's a little better. Okay. We're a consortium of houses of worship. In the Summit area, we educate and advocate for environmental stewardship, and we do get involved with environmental justice as well. We came together in 2014, so we are the oldest Green Face Circle in the country. Our organization and other New Jersey Green Face Circles, as well as the International Green Faith Organization, have worked together to develop support for a bill in the New Jersey legislature called the Polluters Pay to Make New Jersey Affordable Act. This bill requires the fossil fuel industry to take responsibility for the climate chaos and damage they have created, repair the harm, and fund mitigation projects against future harms. This bill will shift the burden of paying for climate disasters from homeowners and municipalities to big oil. Over 200 members of the New Jersey clergy have signed a letter supporting this bill, and 7 of them come from Summit. So I'm really proud to share that information with you. As one of the members of the clergy said, those who inflict damage must pay for it. I would ask that you contact your state senator or assemblyman or assemblywoman to express your support for this bill. There are flyers in the back of this auditorium which provide additional information about the bill. And there's also a sign-up sheet for anyone who's interested in getting involved with environmental justice issues. We conduct Zoom meetings typically once a month, and we're open to and always appreciate listening to another perspective. Thank you. Oh, one thing I just wanted to mention. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the no immunity for big oil postcards that Francie was kind enough to share with me. So if you are concerned, as a lot of other people are, about this issue, there are postcards on the table near the entrance. So you feel free to take some for yourself, and you can certainly work to support that as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bill. It is amazing to think back when that circle started with 4 congregations right here and then soon became 6 congregations. So we're delighted now to invite Paul Lemaire to speak to us about the Repair Cafe. And Paul is speaking coming from Madison, Wisconsin. So, no, not Madison, Wisconsin. Madison, New Jersey. I was there earlier this year.
Thank you for having me. So I got my start in Repair Cafe here in Summit. It was one of the first ones I went to. The motto of the Repair Cafe is, throw it away, no way. Bring it to a Repair Cafe. So what a Repair Cafe is, we get somewhere in a hall like this at a church, a library, some public space. We get a bunch of volunteer repairers with tool cases and sewing machines, and they gather on typically a Saturday or a Sunday for 3 or 4 hours, and then you get people from the community, from Summit or all the surrounding towns, wherever, and you fix things for free. And that goes on for 3 or 4 hours. Summit's been doing it since 2018. They typically rescue about 400 or 500 pounds of stuff that would otherwise end up in the landfill by fixing it. Batting averages for most of the repair cafes is somewhere in excess of 80% of things get fixed that day while the people are there. So what gets fixed? You name it. If you can carry it in by yourself and it's not exceptionally dangerous or smelly, we will attempt to fix it. So it's bicycles, sewing, furniture, dull knives, watches that need batteries, jewelry, the list goes on. Lamps. Lamps are, for some reason, extremely popular at all repair cafes. So these are the kinds of things that we fix. We do it while the people wait. It's not a drop-off. Our goals are several. One is to show people that things can get fixed. They may know that they are, but they don't know where to go. They may want to learn how to do it, and a lot of the times they'll see it and they say, I could do that. And so we'll show them how to do it. We do it for the environment. We do it because it saves people money. And I'd say largely we do it for community because it's really a feel-good event. And I'll finish off with just a couple quick examples. One that's obviously environmental is a couple weeks ago I did one, I think it was in Morristown, and the lady brought in knives. I was a sharpening guy that day. She said, "These knives are dull, I'm going to go get some new ones." And I said, no, that doesn't make any sense. We sharpened the knives up, but apparently her habit was to buy new knives, which didn't make much sense. The other one is a real feel-good one. John is a piano player, was in Rutherford. He just got out of the hospital, brought in a piano bench that was in pieces. Turned out to be one of the easiest repairs you could imagine. John was so pleased, he wrote a letter to the town council, the mayor, and the organizer saying how much Repair Cafe had helped him. And these stories are every single event, there's a story like that. So I left a list over on the side. Not only is there one in Summit, but there's a whole bunch of them. You can see some pictures, and they're over on the table. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Paul. And now we come to another huge network where we're floating above Summit. Just imagine how many gardens there are. So we're delighted to welcome Christine Amundsen from the Summit Garden Club.
And now we go down. Here we go. Good evening, and thank you all for coming. As Susan said, I'm Christina Amundsen, and I'm here representing the Summit Garden Club. Our club's mission is to promote community knowledge and appreciation of gardening, horticulture, and conservation. First, a bit of background. The Summit Garden Club was founded in 1916, before women had the right to vote. In 1920, we joined something called the Garden Club of America, which is an umbrella organization with 199 clubs and about 18,000 members nationwide. So that gives us a bit of pull. The Garden Club of America has been focused on conservation for over 100 years. In fact, their efforts helped save the famed sequoias in California. Through our membership in the Garden Club of America and our active support of its New Jersey committee, we can access funds for worthy local projects. One of these is the Freeman Meadow Collection at Reeves Reed Arboretum that showcases native plants, so we can see what they look like, how they like to grow, and how they thrive in our environment. Annually, about 360 delegates from member clubs convene in Washington, D.C. to identify environmental issues that will become the center of our club's work. One of these conferences led to the concept of April as Native Plant Month and resulted in the bipartisan evergreen proclamation of April as Native Plant Month in New Jersey. This gives us the opportunity to focus our efforts on learning and teaching, and of course, designing and planting using New Jersey native plants in our gardens. The flip side of beneficial native plants is invasive species. Our club advocated for the eventual passage and signing of New Jersey's law banning the sale of invasive plants. Summit Garden Club members volunteer in our community and have supported many worthwhile Summit projects with funds and volunteer time. Our members designed and planted the herb garden at the Reeves Reed Arboretum and continue to maintain it. Our members partner with Summit's Environmental Commission and help celebrate Earth Day in Summit by weeding invasives at the head of the Passaic River Trail. Over the years, we have made a dent in the Japanese knotweed. And our members also helped plant and provided initial care for the tiny forest. Most recently, as the Reverend mentioned, our members cleaned up, redesigned, replanted, and continue to care for the U.S. Post Office garden here in Summit. The Summit Garden Club continues to work to become a green resource for Summit and its residents, one garden at a time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Christine. And now the person who knows all about the many, many trees on all the streets of Summit. This is John Kilby, Summit Shade Tree Advisory Committee.
All right, thank you. So green initiatives and resources. First of all, green. Summit's green canopy has been under continued attack in the past decade from significant diseases. The ash, the birch, the elm, all have been met with an aggressive program by the city. Planting 1,000 trees actually ended up at 1,200 trees, but an aggressive reply to what we faced. The canopy has also been somewhat under threat by residents with less interest in the benefits of the larger canopy trees. This has been addressed somewhat by our new ordinance, which addresses the value of trees to the community and to some degree with better controls of removals, replacements, and general upkeep of our impressive tree canopy. Our tree planting program is having approximately 60% of the new trees planting based on residents' requests for the variety of choice. This gives new values to residents that get involved. Resources. We use the city website to list the preferred trees for this region and also a listing of the landmark trees. We outreach to community night each year, talking to willing audiences like Rotary, etc. We have an Arbor Day program to comply with their requirements, which is quite frankly most gratifying this year with a large audience of school children. We also had an excellent evening with our collaboration with Reeves Reed, with an excellent speaker of trees for the climate we're currently facing these days. Well attended and very much enjoyed. We put out various brochures from the USDA. One of them, which is quite interesting, is the donuts versus volcanoes. Unfortunately, our local gardening community, service-wise, seem to prefer volcanoes instead of donuts, but hopefully we'll address that at some stage or another. We collaborate with the library in the January-February timeframe when we dethatch the Japanese maple on the green, and it's looking better and better each year. Unfortunately, we didn't get in there early enough to actually give it the kind of pruning it should have, but you've got to be a little bit careful with the Japanese maples. But it's looking very nice these days. We have a interesting project going on. In the courtyard of City Hall, you might notice there's the Salem oak growing there for the last few years. We've got it potted, and we're ready to move it onto the green, and we hope to be able to use it. This is a tree that lasted something like 300 years out in either Basking Ridge or Bernardsville. We're hoping to use it later this year as part of our 250th anniversary endeavor. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, John, for all that diligent watching of many trees. Who do we have now? Oh, yes. So Marin Mixon has been a long-time coordinator of the Summit Downtown Market, Summit Farmers Market, and Donna will say a little bit of, give a little bit of information that Marin would have given if she were. So welcome back to Donna.
Okay. Hello again. I am the resident member of the Summit Farmers Market Committee, so I'm going to quickly discuss the amazing Summit offering. Summit Downtown Inc. manages the successful Summit Farmers Market. The market's held every Sunday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. from April through December. It's found in DeForest Lot number 1 across from the CVS, and there are almost 70 vendors at the market, including Sustainable House, as we heard. Every week, there is a table at the entrance called the gift table. People can donate money or produce, including from their home gardens, to be distributed by Grace. 2 volunteers help each week, and middle and high school students are eligible. There's a flyer on the table with information about volunteering at the gift table. In addition to providing local fresh produce and sustainable items, the Summit Farmers Market has gone greener over the years by encouraging reusable shopping bags and adding electricity to eliminate the need for the vendors to use generators. These practices improve the experience for everyone. Marin had a prior engagement, so she couldn't be here. So thank you for letting me talk twice.
Thank you, Donna. We welcome Irvi Pinson, who is with Together for Biodiversity.
Thank you, Susan. Thanks, and good evening. And thank you, Susan, Francie, all the organizers. Great event, and I'm really hoping this becomes a new annual tradition. My name is Irvi Pinson. I'm representing Together for Biodiversity. We're a small team with Mary Ann Glenn, who many of you know, Christina Perez, and myself. We have a simple goal, is to bring people closer to nature and support biodiversity through community action. Most of what we do is find excuses or opportunities to talk about biodiversity and promote behavior change, being counting birds in Christmas or reporting the straggler cicadas last week at home as part of the Biodiversity Day. We don't see ourselves as a standalone organization, but rather as a connector working alongside some of the groups here on shared projects and ideas. We also want to inspire the next generation. We want young people to see that working on environmental challenges is not only meaningful, but also a real and valuable career path, or perhaps a lifelong side passion like it is for most of us. One practical tool we created is the biodiversity calendar that includes relevant events, volunteer opportunities, and initiatives of interest. We invite all of you to scan the QR code, use it, share it, and help us grow it by letting us know what activities or events we should include. Finally, we'd like to introduce an idea we're exploring, the creation of a shared AI ecolab, an ecology lab for local environmental organizations. AI is transforming the world at an accelerating pace, and it is a controversial technology with a lot of good or bad things that could come out of it. We believe there's an opportunity to learn and experiment together on how to leverage it for the good in areas like education, grants, fundraising, or projects in general. So I'll end up with an invitation to contact us and talk us about any ideas you may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Irvi. And a note of tribute to Marion Glenn, who did so much in Summit with the Green Plan and lots of educating and lots of talking here. And now she's up in Ithaca, so it was nice to hear that reference. We welcome now Dwight Hiscano of the Summit Conservancy, again with all around Summit. Yeah.
Hi, folks. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it. I've lived in Summit for 40 years this September. And 40 years ago, I couldn't have imagined a group like this in one room, all dedicated to helping the planet when there are so many people who seem to be dedicated to harming it. So it's encouraging. And it's nice to see a lot of friends here. I lived at Reeves Reed Arboretum for 6 blissful years. The Reverend who married my wife and I was one of the founding members of Green Faith, I believe. Dr. Rubino delivered one of our children. So lots of connections here. Anyway, I'm currently I'm on the board of the Summit Conservancy. I joined, I think, about 5 years ago when they were in the middle of one of their most difficult projects, and that is the Free Market building. For any of you who have not been there, please take advantage of it. It's an amazing resource. It's where you drop off and pick up garage sale quality items. To date, if I'm not mistaken, it's prevented over 100 tons, is that correct, of waste from entering the landfill. So it's not just landfill space. We're thinking about the trucks that have to transport this stuff, the amount of pollution, the amount of energy consumed, the amount of oil consumed. So a major project, and the first of its kind in the state. We've helped out with the Tiny Forest. If you haven't seen that, it's an amazing, beautiful oasis. And I'm hoping that that will become a movement and that other towns and cities will embrace that and start to create their own tiny forests, because it's a wonderful place to visit. We recently completed the bike depot over near the train station, which I think has room for 30 bikes, if I'm not mistaken. And we worked with the New Jersey Walk Bike Coalition. I hope I have the name correct. That, if people use it, and hopefully they are, I haven't been there during the week yet, I have to go check it out, but that's 30 cars off the road. That's 30 commuters that won't be relying on gasoline to get to the train station. And then our most recent project, make sure I'm not forgetting anything, is the Secret Garden at the Summit High School. The courtyard at the Summit High School has been neglected. And we're helping to restore that. We're providing the finances and the manpower, thanks to our trustees, several of whom are in this room, creating garden beds for the students to grow vegetables and to grow native pollinator plants. So another interesting project. I encourage you all, we have a poster over there with a QR code. Go check it out. We've been pretty active in town for quite a while. And hope to continue to do so. So thank you all. Appreciate being part of this. And it's a very impressive group.
Thank you so much, Dwight. So we've heard from many groups in particular places and particular networks. And now we come to the big knowledge network of a free public library that really touches every resident. So it's exciting to think what can be leveraged by the Summit Free Public Library. We welcome the director, Amy Bear Shields.
Good evening, everyone. I had a rough commute this evening from right next door. I'm Amy Bear Shields, and I'm the director of the Summit Free Public Library. Our mission is simple: to inform, enrich, and inspire. And while many people think of libraries primarily as places for books, we also see ourselves as centers for lifelong learning, for community connection, and for sustainability. Sustainability has actually been woven into library work for years, and at Summit Free Public Library, that looks like sustainable building operations, everything from small actions of, replacing into LED lighting and adding bottle filters, but it also means helping people live more sustainably in practical and accessible ways. One example is our Library of Things, funded by the Friends of the Library, where residents can borrow items instead of buying them, supporting a more circular economy and reducing unnecessary consumption in the community. We also host eco-conscious and educational programming, including upcycling initiatives. This summer, for example, community members can drop off unused craft supplies at the library, and on September 19th, save the date, people can come shop donated materials for free creative reuse. A huge shout out to Mimi for sharing that idea with us. And probably our most impactful sustainability initiatives involve hands-on environmental education. Our Wilson White Learning Garden helps elementary students better understand farm-to-table growing, pollinators, and environmental stewardship. And many thanks to our friends over at the Arboretum for guiding us in setting up square-foot gardening for the kids. And one of the projects we're most proud of is our Native Seed Library, funded by the Friends of the Library. Through this, volunteers collect native plant seeds from Summit's tiny forest, and then volunteers at the library separate and package those seeds for distribution back out into the community to help support native ecosystems and pollinators. Again, thank you to Mimi and Donna for partnering with us in that. I would really love to see sustainability to continue to be more and more community driven, and I think Summit has shown us all that small local actions really do matter, especially when organizations, residents, schools, and community groups work together and share knowledge, resources, and ideas. And libraries are uniquely positioned to help make sustainability approachable, educational, and collaborative. So we're always looking for more community partners who value education, environmental stewardship, and lifelong learning. And honestly, probably the best way you can connect with us is to simply walk into the library and stop by and say hello. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy, for really drawing it all together. Such a holistic approach. We really appreciate that. And now we see part of a national movement to get off plastic. So hard to do and so important. So we're very excited to have here Lois Kraus from Westfield, with Beyond Plastic.
Thank you for letting me come today. And I have to start by saying, as a Westfield resident, we look to Summit all the time for leadership. So whether it's Donna and Mimi and doing things at the library, working with the schools, you are a model not only for Union County, but also for the state. And we really appreciate that. Jeanette and I co-chair the New Jersey chapter of Beyond Plastics, and what would be a better place than Summit to do that. We are one of 40 chapters. It is led by Judith Enck, who was one of Obama's EPA directors. You may have heard her on Brian Lehrer just yesterday talking about extended producer responsibility. So our goal is really to engage citizens to create this movement where we can have real, well-informed people that recognize we need institutional, societal, and economic change to get off our dependence of single-use plastic. Many of you have mentioned it, and it is everywhere, in our air, in our water, in our soil. As much as 6% of our soil is now plastic. I'm told our oceans by 2050 will be equal in mass fish to plastic. It's throughout our body. So we really want to educate people about that, and we meet once a month by Zoom, although you could come right to Sustainable House to meet with us the first Monday of every month for 1 hour to really work with citizens to make change locally. And I could talk a lot about it, but what I want to do is empower you today to help us with our success from this year, which is Skip the Stuff. This started with towns across the state. Westfield and I think Cranford and Garwood were among the first, but spread across to 60 towns, passed local ordinances to say for takeout orders, the customer only will get cutlery and condiments upon request. 90% of it goes right into the garbage. So by having these 60 towns pass local ordinances, that gave the impetus for our state to pass a statewide bill, which is really phenomenal. So August 1st, Summit, I'm asking you to be our liaisons across your town to make sure restaurants are aware that they should not be giving out cutlery and condiments. If you get it, just give them a tip, and I have tip cards that I can give you to say, hey, there's a law now, you're not supposed to give this to us. And the restaurants will love it because it saves them money. It saves you the clutter from your house. We work on other things as well, plastic construction dust, extended producer responsibility, looking at artificial turf, balloon releases. There are many things that you can get involved in, but we are more than willing to come into the community and educate students, seniors, parents on what plastic is doing to your body. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. Can you clarify, is August 1st when the law goes into or when the ordinance goes into effect? All through New Jersey. So we should start telling them in advance of August 1st, really. Great.
180-day education period, but we have given Donna material, right? We're going to make sure we can.
Great. That's very, very encouraging. Excellent. Now we go to other same watersheds actually, but in other towns. We're very glad to welcome Kirk Barrett, who is president of the Board of Trustees of the Rahway River Watershed Association.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Yes, I'm the president of the Rahway River Watershed Association. Who's heard of the Rahway River Watershed Association? A lot of you. I bet it's because of Marion Glenn, who was my immediately predecessor, and she was the president of the Rahway River Watershed Association. It was mentioned that the Passaic River is probably more famous in Summit than the Rahway River, because the Rahway River doesn't go through Summit. But down here this is the watershed map. Down here in the southeast corner around Bryant Park is a tributary to the Rahway River, so that's how the Rahway River gets in here. The mission of the Rahway River Watershed Association is to promote the enjoyment, appreciation, preservation, and enhancement of ecological resources in the Rahway River and its watershed. right? We focus on the watershed, right? This is the area of land that all drains down here into the Arthur Kill at the mouth of the river, right? The watershed is all that land, and we focus on the whole watershed because whatever happens in the watershed affects the river. Right? It's just like the plastic that Lois, who is also a board member of the Rahway River Watershed Association, should point out, the plastics that people throw on the ground when it rains, it runs off and it all goes into the river. So you want to protect the river and the fish and the aquatic resources, you have to protect the whole watershed, and that's what we try to do. Our two focuses we have are on native plants because they are nominally better habitat for wildlife and require less any kind of maintenance like especially pesticides or herbicides, and green stormwater management practices like rain gardens. So, and we have a variety of other activities. I lead hikes in South Mountain Reservation, and you can come and see this, right? And in the fall you can see this. So, come down there, check out the Rahway River there. We have events coming up. Most notably is our 35th anniversary is this year, and we're having a ribbon cutting for the expansion of our native plant garden down in our offices by Rahway. So there's flyers back there. Come to that. That's free. We have a book signing by a photographic book of nature photographs along the Rahway River. The week before that the ribbon cutting's on June 13th. This book signing's on June 6th. And also there's an artist reception there for artwork of native plants and animals. So check out those flyers over there. And if you remember, our website's really easy to remember. It's rahwayriver.org, or follow us on Eventbrite to learn about all our events. And we're also on Facebook. And I haven't heard the bell yet, so I got a few more minutes here, right? And we have one more event coming up with Emil DeVito. Anybody heard of Emil DeVito? Right? He has quite a following. He has a bunch of groupies who love to go on his hikes because he's quite an entertainer, as well as being the leading field naturalist in New Jersey. He's on our board as the vice president. He's also the chief scientist of the New Jersey Conservation Foundation, and he leads a tour of the Pine Barrens, where he is really the leading expert on the ecology of the Pine Barrens, and that's coming up just on May 30th, I believe this says, which is this Saturday. So that flyer's over there also. And there I hear the bell, right? I also have these cards and these flyers. I think I covered everything on my list here, so thank you very much for organizing. Come out here, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Kirk. And because one of the blessings of this gathering is to think how we can support each other, connect with each other, being aware of what different groups are doing. Suddenly you have 20 people who will speak about what you're doing. So I need to take a moment to speak about the fact that Kirk Barrett solved a big problem for me. We had a whole native plant display at the Princeton reunions, and I was told, you've got to get it off campus by 10 a.m. Sunday morning. I thought, how do we do that? So Kirk drove down in an 8-foot pickup truck and loaded all those plants and shrubs and trees and brought them right up to South Orange. So this is how we help each other. Thank you, Kirk. Now it's a pleasure to welcome Alex Sloan from the Great Swamp Watershed Association, Board of Trustees.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? I am not on the Board of Trustees. I am an employee. I am the Water Quality and Education Associate. Our office is located in Morristown, but I'm actually a Summit resident, so I appreciate meeting everyone doing all this amazing work in our town. The mission of the Great Swamp Watershed Association is to protect and improve the health of the Passaic River through science, education, land preservation, stewardship, and advocacy. The water quality data that we collect shapes our advocacy for community and environmental protections and informs our school and public education programs. We host field trips for schools across the watershed from Mendham to Newark, all at our conservation management area, which is in Morristown. The CMA, as we call it, is our stewardship property where we are actively restoring a native forested floodplain ecosystem. The CMA is also the site of most of our land stewardship efforts and volunteering, and it's a beautiful spot to visit any time of year. You can hear the spring peepers, you can see wood ducks, you can look for salamanders, you can even find bear or bobcat tracks if you're lucky. Our public programs include hikes and paddles all along the river. Our goals are to increase awareness and access to the river and the surrounding environment, build a sense of place through direct connection, and of course, provide education and enjoyment. We also have many opportunities for people to get involved in our work. We just finished up our annual native plant program. I know we have some volunteers in the crowd. It is our biggest public education program. We had about 213 volunteers and 16 towns partner with us to distribute 30,000 native plants. In fact, I believe some of those plants have found their new home here at this church in the pollinator garden. We also just hosted our first Passaic River-wide cleanup with 8 sites along the river, including Stanley Avenue Park. I think it's Union County picnic area, the one on River Road. But we had over 80 volunteers who collected 135 bags of trash across the watershed. Volunteers power so much of our work, from the native plant program to water quality monitoring, to land stewardship, education, even fundraising and office work. We could not do all this great work without the active support of our watershed communities. In return, we hope they gain a sense of satisfaction, stewardship, connection, and an appreciation for the Passaic River and all the life, human and other than human, that it supports. If you are interested in getting involved as a volunteer, please come talk to us afterwards. We would love to have you. And I just want to finish by saying that GSWA supports a One River, One Community vision for the many rural, suburban, and urban communities along the Passaic River, including Summit, for a future in which all the region's citizens understand that the health of the watershed is integrally connected to the quality of their daily lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. Ingrid Whitty is not able to be here tonight. She was going to talk about the watershed education of the NJ DEP new compliance requirements for retrofitting storm drains, but she's up for doing it when we next have a meeting, so we look forward to that. I would like to say thank you to all of the speakers, because it is not easy to do condensed talks about something you're passionate about, and you stayed on time, and we are grateful. So congratulations and thank you. Before we break for refreshments, and Francie Cho, we want to do a big thank you for your organization of this whole event. Yep. Because you've been so disciplined with the time, we do have a little bit of time for questions or comments. So we welcome brief comments. The speakers were brief, so you too can be that way. So please, if there's comments or questions for a particular speaker, do come up, state it succinctly, and tell us who you are. So the floor is welcome. The floor is open. Come on up. I'm going to call on Darcy to make a comment, because she is going to be starting a PhD program in forestry in University of British Columbia, and she's done the bell, so now we want to hear it.
Hi. Well, I was just taking notes on everyone because that was very interesting, and a lot of things that are just inspiring for individuals to take action as a community member. I'm from Maplewood, so I'm a few towns over, and just looking to get involved as much as I can before, yes, I leave across the country. So there are definitely a lot of things I saw that we could sit in on, things to volunteer for. I do have a directed question for Louis, Beyond Plastics. Oh yeah, so you have the Zoom meetings every month to go over, do you do any sort of like educational initiatives or kind of get-togethers? I know you have the products that you collaborate with in the store, but as a person who's trying to detoxify my lifestyle also for the environment and myself, are there like resources or just different educational things that you recommend people go out and explore?
Yes.
Okay.
So we do
Okay, so there's a training.
Have some basic understanding of plastic water bottles, the microwave plastic,
Okay.
food storage, what you wear, your laundry detergent,
Right.
seats, those kinds of things. But what we do is offer to come into communities, and I think we went to the library, we did a program, we did had seniors, we do things at Sustainable House where we educate groups on how they can make more sustainable choices. So
Right.
the group does talk a little bit about that. We're really, so for young people in particular, we want you to watch the Netflix movie that's called
Oh, yeah.
The Plastic Detox.
Yeah, that one was great. I just watched that. And it's absorbable.
And we run screenings all over the state.
Right. And because, you come into communities like this and you see everyone who's very like-minded, and it's, easy to share similar ideas and feel supported and get inspired for different ideas. But then I go and I talk to communities who haven't read a single research paper on it, because a lot of people haven't, are still using all the same products, and it's a majority. This is a bubble that we're in. It's a great bubble to be in, but as soon as people start being exposed, then it's just this ripple effect. So if more and more people can just hear some, I think it makes a big change. So thank you for all sharing.
Thank you so much, Darcy. And I hope you'll check out Civic Stories website, because Darcy wrote a lovely article about gardening on a balcony, all sorts of tips for balcony gardening. Is there a comment there? Yes, please come. Come on, can you? Yeah, just might as well get it.
Can a guy from Madison who fixes things up like bicycles and appliances give them away in Summit? Or do I have to move to Summit?
The answer is let's talk after. It is easier to come up and speak to the mic, so thank you. Get a little exercise. It can be a lineup for any comments.
Thank you so much. Thanks to the organizers, especially to Francie and her husband Jan, who was the doorman out there. Big hand for them. So, Dan Crisafulli, I represent council here tonight. I'm the councilman at large. I'm sure the city staff, Ingrid, would have loved to have been here but was not able to join. It just makes me proud to be part of Summit and I'm currently the liaison, council liaison to the Environmental Commission, but I'm proud to wear this shirt from my many years working with Donna on the EC, and now I get to sit on the Recycling Advisory Committee and other environmental elements here. This is a priority for me personally. It's an issue that I've worked in professionally, and if there's some way that council can help catalyze and to accelerate and to support, please reach out. We really appreciate your efforts.
Thank you so much, Dan. Any other thoughts or comments? Well, let's take time for mingling, enjoy the refreshments. Also, I hope that you'll take a look at this new poster on the right. This is just a sample of all the restorative action going on across the country. So there it is in one site. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to Central Press Church.